Good morning. I wanted to do a quick little tutorial about one of the methods we use in business when we are trying to dry out homes and buildings after there's been some flooding or some water damage or broken pipes. One of the methods we use is drying in place. And we can do that with cabinets. You can do that with walls. We can even dry flooring in place after it's been soaked with water. And I wanted to give some photos of how we do this with the equipment that we use. If you're dealing with some flooding in your home or in your building, maybe a pipe broke or some storm water came in after a large storm, you don't necessarily have to tear out all of those cabinets. You don't necessarily have to tear out all of the walls. It gets a little more complicated if there's insulation in the walls, but even then you can still dry the walls without having to tear them out if you act fast, usually within the first 3 days or 72 hours. If you start to dry those cavities and those wall cavities in place, the flooring in place, or even behind cabinets within the first 72 hours, you can usually avoid mold growth and you can dry that effectively. Now, you're going to want to use the two components to do this, which is dehumidification and air movement. So typically you want the temperature and humidity to drop. Ambient humidity in the building is usually around 60% relative humidity. Temperature is usually around 70. So if you raise your temperature a little bit, maybe to like 80, and you get your relative humidity down to 30% through the use of a dehumidifier, and you inject that air into trapped airspace in, under cabinets or behind walls, you do that for about 3 to 7 days, sometimes 10 days in really wet conditions. You could typically rescue the home from having to deal with mold. So here's some photos that I've shown for some of the projects that we do this on.